Luke Graham of Dundee. I know that we've kind of heard that before, but apparently they were in attendance at Friday night's under-21s game where he was a standout. Is he someone that you think could make the jump up to Rangers?
I've not seen enough of him, Daniel, to be honest. I mean, I've seen him a few times, and certainly from people I've spoken to, they've been really impressed with him. I didn't see the under-21 game the other night, 0-0 draw against the Czech Republic, but apparently he was a standout. Luke Graham. I think Rangers were actually at the Hearts Dundee game. Had scouts at the Hearts Dundee game last week as well, presumably to keep an eye on him. But I think I've said before on here that I don't think it's a secret now that Rangers are watching closely SPFL players who are around them. I think there's a real conscious effort to ensure that they don't miss out on anyone that they think might strengthen them or that they can pick up for a reasonable fee, obviously. So I think they're looking at everybody. They've obviously looked at the Motherwell boys, Elijah Just, Maswanise. They'll be on the radar as well as Luke Graham. I think there are one or two others as well. So I don't think there are any kind of concrete moves to go and sign these players at the minute. I do think it's a conscious effort for Rangers, and that could obviously kind of come alive in the summer when it gets round to bringing people in.
I think, Scotty, not wishing to contradict you, I think they're quite far down the line with Luke Graham. I think he's been identified for a number of weeks now. I think there's been discussion. Interestingly, I believe that Andrew Cavenagh is actually quite central to some of the discussions. You would have expected maybe that he'd kind of hand that, sort of let the minions deal with that sort of stuff. He delegates, but I think that he's taking personal interest in what the recruitment department are looking at this summer, and I believe very much that Luke Graham is a guy that is the serious interest is beyond they're just monitoring. I expect them to put a bid in for him this summer. It wouldn't surprise me, by the way, if they did some kind of deal whereby they do a deal with Dundee to buy him and then loan him back out to Dundee for next season to get him another year of Premier League experience, because I think that'd be better for his development than sitting struggling to get any game time at Ibrox. If you know he's one for the future, but he needs games, all centre halves need as many games as possible, because you know it's quite unusual to get a really good young one, if you know what I mean. But that comes with game time, it comes with experience. He looks the part, this boy. So I think that Rangers, I think that's exactly what they'll be looking to do, is structure a deal whereby they can get him, they can sign him, and they can maybe loan him back to Dundee. And I think that would please Dundee as well, because he's a central part of that team, and it's a much improved Dundee team, isn't it? So I would expect, I know it's beyond it might happen in my head, I fully expect that to happen.
I think that would be a great move, Jacko. I think if Rangers can do a deal to send them back on loan, I think that would be ideal for all parties. No, you think?
He's development stall, Scott, if he was sat on a bench watching.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Aye. And Rangers, obviously, Fernandes has kind of made himself number one pick centre-back. We don't know what's going to happen with Giga, who's still on loan. John Souttar's signed a new contract. No, Scotland International, he's going to be there next season. So it'd be tough for Luke Graham to come in and just play right away. No, whatever age is, 21-year-old. It'd be tough for him. So I think if that's right, I think that'd be a great move for everybody. If Rangers could do a deal, get back to Dundee for another season, as you say, he can aid his development, then I think that'd be a brilliant bit of business for them.
And the only other thing, Scott, Rangers-wise, was Ravi Matondo is off. You'll always have that goal against Celtic.
Looks like it, aye. Go against Celtic, go against PSV. That's about 1.25 million a goal. Aye, he's not been a brilliant signing, Daniel. I think he's been there 4 years now, which is incredible. Riddled with injuries. Couldn't find any kind of fitness or consistency, and it's just been a case of trying to get him off the wage bill. Now he's only got 3 or 4 months left on his contract, but looks as if they're going to be able to offload him to Brand Bergen. presuming he passes his medical, obviously. And I think Rangers, although they'll not get a fee, we know a lot of time left in his deal. I do know Rangers, the deal that they've kind of agreed is that Rangers will get certain bonuses kind of tied in for Rangers if he hits some targets, and if he moves on again, which might be a big if, but if he moves on again, Rangers will get a kind of hefty sell-on fee. So I think
he's quite a big earner, Scott, isn't he? He made a few quid at Rangers, didn't he?
It was a big signing. I think it was Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. He previously moved to Schalke, if you remember, for like 11 million.
That's